Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Quotables. We are back with yet another fun movie, but let me go ahead and introduce my friend and co-host, Ernie. How's it going, Erns?
I'm doing well. And as always, I'm joined by my co host here, Lex. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm excited about today's movie because we followed the Yellow Brick Road
Oh,
and
I
are going
like
to be
that.
doing Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, which is fun. I'm glad because this is probably one of our first
I,
kind of deep dive into a really old movie,
yeah,
right?
it's a super 1939. It was. Um,
That's pretty.
I told Ernie about this movie, and he mistakenly watched The Wiz.
Yeah, I was
And
about
we
to.
no, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. And then we
So we're on a different wavelength. So he's gonna be talking about the Wizard of Oz. I'm gonna be talking about Michael Jackson's
damn
The Wiz. If you ever seen
The
that one,
Wiz.
pretty solid movie.
And not the
honestly. I like
movie,
it.
his actual Wiz. I like that
Ah.
one. I like that one.
I did.
Well, it's good to be back, Ernie. We took a little hiatus because we were just working on our YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
So hopefully
and-
we're almost up to date on that.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's a lot of there's a ton of work that goes into
Yeah, I did all
it
the
doesn't.
work.
Yeah, he did.
No, I'm
So
kidding.
there's not a, it seems like it's all you upload a video, but you have to find the audio, and we had to go back and find everything. So it was interesting.
And Ernie, he titles the episodes really strange, but it's all right. We're good and we're all up to date.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll hear from the fans. see if they
Episode
like
2
the
quotey.
titles.
So let's go ahead and talk about this movie.
Yeah,
Right?
let's get into it.
So, this movie is just super classic, 1939 feel. Gave me that Three Stooges, Little Rascal, I Love Lucy, Laurel and Hardy vibes. Have you ever seen those shows?
I have, yeah, definitely. They're super old. I Love Lucy is probably one of the shows that's a classic in my house.
Yeah, we love
I've
that.
watched it.
We always watched the Three Stooges with my dad and stuff too, and then
Oh, yeah,
Little
Three-
Rascals is classic too.
Three Stooges is one of the shows that would come out on TV randomly,
Mhm.
and I would watch it, and it's hilarious, dude. It's got such a great sense of humor. But I Love Lucy is one of the ones that I
Yeah,
actually
it's
would go out
classic.
of my way to go find it and watch it. Hulu has it all,
That's true, yeah. It
and
does.
and they're
Hulu.
freaking hilarious episodes.
So yeah, that's gave me that vibe for sure. We get our intro to Dorothy, our heroine, Just kidding. And Toto,
Yeah,
the dog, running from Miss Gulch. Apparently, she was abusing her little dog. Excuse me, but Auntie M and her Uncle Henry, I believe it is. Yeah, they just aren't listening. They're like, oh, and they're talking really fast. Like this whole time, they're just talking like, I told you not to do this. Dorothy, and I'm just like, oh fuck, I can't even keep up what's going on right now.
You know what's funny is I'm glad you mentioned something about that because I actually noticed that as well, and I was wondering maybe is that how Dorothy is hearing them because usually they always portray this in cartoons or old timey things kids don't listen to the parents and
True.
they hear them in such a weird odd
I suppose, but I think that was just the style because I
Yeah.
feel like they did a lot of fast talk in those days.
Mhm.
Back in those days,
yeah.
well,
Well, I forgot to mention, but that's Judy Garland.
Too. Yeah, Judy
that plays,
Garland, of course.
Dorothy.
Yes, she's no.
Oh, let me tell you something random, a little fact that
Tell
I
me.
ended up finding out. So the author, obviously this is the movie we're talking about, but there's actually a book as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
The book, I forget the author's name right now at the top of my head.
Something bomb, I think.
Yeah, so he wrote Dorothy, the character, the name, after his niece, who ended up dying 5 months into her, being born, and that's how he kind of honored her name.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which is a little random little side fact, but I was just like, that's kind of cool. I kind of neat that people do stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
Sucks the
interesting.
kid died, but yeah, continue. Let's go.
Then we get an intro to Zeke, Hickory, and Hunk, who are giving us some strange, familiar vibes. Fun fact about that: the author was a hunk. That's why his name. No, I'm kidding. I'm done. I'm sorry.
That was pretty good. No, you know
You
what?
like
Because
that
I
one?
looked at you and I was like, damn, I
Oh,
believe it.
I'm waiting.
I know what
think
he's
we
talking
lost
about.
him. Yeah, even they're saying to Hunk, he's like, your head is made of straw, and he's like, oh no, just it was just dumb. Like every little guy they talk to has a little, resemblance to
Yeah,
obviously the
characters.
character they're gonna be
Mhm.
playing. If you haven't seen this movie, but if you have, yeah, you should.
But what is
'cause it's
80 years old or
one of
something
those
like
movies, something like that. So we got Dorothy. I think it's the part where she falls into the little pig pen and they're like, Dorothy, and then they're talking to Zeke. So why are you letting her play like that? He's like, I didn't know. He's all scared, because he doesn't have a little courage.
that. Mhm.
And that's when Dorothy starts talking like, I need some place where there isn't any trouble, somewhere past the sun or something like that. She goes, somewhere over the rainbow.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, the classic song. Famous time. That song that I think is like when you think that song, obviously it's this movie. You know what I mean? Like this, when people think this movie, they think that song, I think.
It's like a classic. I feel like a lot of people know it. Like once you sing it, you know it.
I thought Toto was gonna start singing with her. I wish he
He's
like Africa. No, I'm kidding. I like that one.
That's a good one. That's even better.
So after the song, we get our intro to the Miss Gulch jamming in also. And she's like, "I'm gonna put that dog away, Henry." And like all pissed off. And then she's like, "She bit me." And then Uncle Henry's, "Oh, Dorothy, she bit you, huh?" And like he's not really getting it.
It's funny because like a lot of like the little nuances of the movie are so based on they're based on the characters obviously later on, so you can tell like which one is going to be
Auntie
what,
and
right?
Uncle Henry, they don't really. I don't think they don't have a character in like the Oz. Like
I always thought that they were like something else that we didn't notice at the beginning, but I'm just saying they're like characters already. In the story, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And then that stupid Miss Gulch is like, "The dog is a menace to the community. I'm taking him to the sheriff to make sure it's destroyed." I'm like, that's some fine words right there, man. It's pretty intense.
That's pretty random.
So I guess she got a sheriff order, which to get the dog. So they end up giving her the dog, and Dorothy's super sad, and then even Auntie M's like, "There's so many things I wanted to say to you. 23 years." She's like, "But now being a Christian woman, I can't say it." I wonder what she was gonna say to her. "You're a bitch."
Yeah.
Which I would have said that she even just looks wicked. So she takes off, and the Wicked Witch song is playing, and then Toto escapes. He ends up escaping. So Toto gets back with Dorothy, and that's when she attempts to run away. She's like, "Oh, he's gonna come back. We need to run away." And that's when they find Professor Marvel comics. No, it's just Professor Marvel. Some crazy ass man is just not too far up the street from them, it seems, and she just barely noticed him. And he's like, "Oh, let me see. You're running. You're like he's like trying to guess what she's doing." And he goes, and she's like, "Oh, how'd you know?" He's all, "Professor Marvel never guesses. He knows." That guy's sweet.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "As one dog to another." He's like, he's just a classic guy, just super like out there, like, and we're gonna get to his character again later. The professor shows her his crystal ball, and I don't know, you think he's legit or is he bullshitting? Because he's kind of like saying how it is, but how I was saying like how in our last episode, fortune tellers, they just go based off like what people are doing in that time. Like,
yeah, I mean,
you just be really general.
Yeah, and it's easy to fool people, and I think honestly, I think he's bullshitting because
she's a young girl.
Yeah, because like I think this is all foreshadowing, obviously, because like, at some point during the movie, you kind of don't understand what really happens to Dorothy because like you don't know if it's all in her head or it's something that she's actually seeing, because a lot of the things like are foreshadowing that she sees it. So he is like Oz, right? He's like the Wizard of Oz, but obviously he's different. But yeah, he's definitely bullshitting her. But I think he's telling her what she wants to hear.
Yeah,
probably.
but then he starts saying that he sees his aunt like getting sick and like falling on her bed, and then that's when like she gets sad and like she runs home. But then that's when the tornado starts. So it's a little strange, but because that never really happens. I think maybe he was just trying to get her to go back. Right.
Yeah, like, I mean that's it's the thing. That's what I'm telling you. I definitely don't think he was. Yeah.
So she runs home, but she can't. She doesn't make it to the bunker. And you see like Auntie M and everybody else like looking around, but if they don't even like really wait for her, they just go straight in the bunker and that's it. Like if I was that girl's guardian, like or anybody like that I knew or like really cared for, I would have been waiting. Like I know it's dangerous, but it's like that's my my child. I mean, it's I know it was a little strange. They just gave up on her ass, and that's when she goes inside and the window breaks intensely and then knocks her ass out. Then she wakes up and the house starts flying all wild. Then we see some funny things in the sky. Got the little lady knitting.
Yeah,
the little boat guys. They're all waving. But I love the effects. They're just so sweet.
They're so sweet.
And then you see Miss Gulch in her bike, and then she turns into the witch. She's like, that shit used to scare me when she turned into the witch. I don't know what it is.
No, I mean,
it's still kind of scary.
It creeps me out, dude. The witch has always creeped me out, and just that scene, I've always been like scared. Because this is funny, like this movie for some reason, this one, Willy Wonka, would be like the ones we would see at school a lot as kids.
Really?
I don't know.
I never watched those movies as kids.
Yeah, at least where I was, because we would read the book, and then he would, and then like our teacher would have us dissect something, kind of like the story and what we thought about it, right?
Oh, I thought you meant like I'd actually dissect.
No, just dissect the story overall, and then like we'd have to write like a little paper, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, now you get to watch the movie."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, that's cool. I've done things like that, but I don't think we ever watched these movies.
Yeah,
which would have been sweet.
Yeah, they're random.
So Dorothy lands in the merry old land of Oz, where there are witches and colors and midgets.
They're doors.
The
dwarves, right? Or what are they?
No, they're munchkins. I'm sorry, munchkins.
They're
munchkins.
Munchkins, yeah. You're fine.
And then another classic line. She goes, "Toto, I have a feeling we aren't in Kansas anymore." And she's like, "We're definitely not in Kansas anymore." And then you see the little little fuckers up.
Yeah, dude, I love the way. I'm sorry, I'm a big fan of like the 1930s and the way like the women would speak like. I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. Like that weird.
Yeah,
I love that, dude. I've always liked that, and that is definitely such an iconic scene. Like, it's everywhere. You know what I mean? It's like on Family Guy. It's on like, other movies and stupid stuff, and people done a bunch of parodies to it. But
that's a classic. So that's when we get the intro to the Good Witch of the North. She's like, "Are you a good witch or a bad witch?" And even her voice is like super crazy.
Yeah. It's
Which she's the Witch of the North. And fun fact, this line started numerous popular songs about bad bitches. Are you a bad bitch or a good bad bitch? Just kidding. Sorry, that was stupid. I was
that was really.
But
I thought, if you want a bad bitch like me, the like Iggy Azalea song.
Oh yeah. So she clarifies she isn't a witch, and then she gets a little laugh, and said, "What was that?" And it's like the Munchkins are laughing because you killed the Wicked Witch of the East when we see the lady on her shoes. So fun fact about that.
Tell me.
I didn't catch it, but I read a thing. Like, apparently, when you see Miss Gulch in the tornado, I guess when she turns into the witch, either she's Miss Gulch or the witch. She has those ruby slippers on, indicating that was the actual witch she landed on. It wasn't the one we see later.
No, it's a different one. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
the sister, right?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously it's played by the same person, but I didn't even know that. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, I didn't think that either. But that's pretty funny because like I knew that, but I didn't know about the two actresses.
It's pretty cool.
One thing, what I've always liked, I don't know, for some reason, always plays in my head, the way he, she gets crushed by the house, right?
Yeah.
And then like her feet are dangling out, and then the way they curl up. You remember that?
Yeah, when she takes them, when she puts them on. Yeah, that shit's weird.
They go like it's such a weird thing, but it always creeped me out, dude.
It is a little strange.
And I always think about it when I rewatch that movie. I'm like, oh my god, this is freaking okay.
So we get an intro to our little Ernies and their sweet ass song.
Oh.
We thank you so sweetly for doing it so neatly. You've killed her so completely.
These little midgets are crazy. I said bitches.
The Munchkins, dude.
Munchkins, I'm sorry. They're crazy, dude. And they're like super, like the way they're dressed and just like the way they look and their faces but they get down. They're like, ding dong, the witch is dead, the wicked witch, the wicked witch.
All right.
And that's another like iconic thing. It's like ding dong, the wicked witch.
Let me tell you a little funny story.
Tell me.
Are you ready? So when
you
I was
were in that movie.
No, well, yeah, no. So when I was a kid, I think I was like in middle school. I had a really mean teacher, and this is another little side fact. The Wicked Witch, the main actress, she was actually a teacher.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, and then she actually ended up making it as an actress in this movie. But so I had a teacher who was really mean, and I saw her, and I would sing like I was like, ding dong, the wicked bitch of the West.
Damn.
Or something, and it was her, and she showed up. I got in trouble. She saw me sing that song, and it was because that stupid song.
Stupid.
Sorry, I'm a Munchkins.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but they have that whole little like ceremony. They're all loving. They're just praising Dorothy, and that sweet little mayor Munchkin comes out, and we must know she's really dead. And then the little corner comes out, the sweet ass outfit too, confirms the death. Yeah. And I forgot that this scene goes on for quite a bit. It's kind of like, and the movie's not very long, so
it's not. There's certain songs that last a little longer. Like obviously, when you meet the Cowardly Lion, like he does like more songs than any other character.
Yeah, he does. Well, if you realize like the hour of the movie has songs, and like the last like 40 minutes does not have any songs.
No, yeah, it's all like movie.
It's all just movie action. But then those little ballerinas come in there. But then my favorite trio is the Lollipop Kids. I think we should dress up as
that. We should definitely do that.
We represent the Lollipop Kids. The Lollipop Kids.
But the way they do their faces, but then they get down. From now on, you'll be history. You'll be history.
Yeah.
That. And that's from fuck. I was trying to remember what it was from. That was from a Simpsons episode. Remember? I don't know if you remember.
I think
that.
yeah, no, yeah, I think it is. I don't
It's
recall
Ned
the episode,
Flanders and fucking.
but I do
his
remember
son.
that it comes out there.
And I totally forgot. It was killing me, but now I just remembered as we were talking.
Yeah.
But then this whole little song gets interrupted by the Wicked Witch of the West. She's fucking scary, dude.
Yeah, dude.
She is creepy.
Bro, the way they made her,
Ooh.
like that's the thing I like about this like movie. It's like a lot of I love when movies do this, but they do practical effects, right? And it's all something that's like not CG. It's like all natural stuff, right? And like her makeup and the makeups of every character in this movie
Yeah, it's pretty.
are really good for this time. Obviously, makeup's gotten a lot better and everything, but like a lot of new makeups are like doing a lot of CG added to it, but like it's so sweet and so simple.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like her green skin color is so freaking scary and it looks
green.
cool.
And her performance is really intense. And ever since this movie, kids have been scared of her like from this performance. And there's even like Mr. Rogers even brought her on to prove that she wasn't a mean lady, but kids still didn't.
No, they're still
Didn't
scared.
buy it.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey kids, this is the witch."
That's funny. I didn't know that.
That's
Such a
so
random
sweet, dude.
fact.
So she wants the ruby slippers because they have some power, but they're on Dorothy now. And then the Witch of the North is like, there they are, and there they'll stay. And then she gets all mad. And I love the Witch of the North when she says this to her, the witch. She goes, "Be gone before someone else drops a house on you." She's like,
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
which is yet another line. And then she disappears. So that's when Dorothy gets sent off to go see the Wizard of Oz. She's like, "Just follow the yellow brick road," and all the guys are,
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Well, because of the wonderful thing he does.
"You're off to see the wizard,
The wonderful Wizard of Oz.
There goes the Munchkins, man. And then we never saw him again. No, we'll see him later.
Yeah.
So she's walking, and then she comes to a fork in the road where she sees the Scarecrow, one of my favorite characters, side characters in this movie. But there's another one too.
Sweet.
And they're talking. He's, "I was born without a brain." And she's like, "How can you talk without a brain?" He's all, "Some people without brains do an awful lot of talking." I like that.
He's
It's
good.
a good
That's
line.
such a good line,
It
dude.
is.
I do this obviously. Well, those who do know, there's like little conspiracy theories that obviously like the book was written as a allegory for other things. It's not just what the movie is based on, what you're seeing.
Yeah.
It's like this whole thing, right? And definitely you'll see into it. I'm not gonna get into it, obviously, but like if you guys ever look it up, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit, and we'll talk about one of them that I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
So yeah, and I love the Scarecrow because you believe he's a scarecrow. If that makes any sense. Like I've never seen an actor fall and like jump and like do all this crazy shit so much as than this guy.
Definitely,
He's always falling.
Yeah, he portrays the
like,
character really well, and that's the thing. It's like practical effect.
And
like
his face looks fucking crazy.
His face looks cool as hell. Like it looks so weird, but it's like, like again, in this time, you're like, damn, they're actually doing a great job.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
I do want to say something before I forget because this is like because we're going deep into the movie later on. Did you know that this movie was filmed by 4 different directors before it got finished?
No.
Yeah, so 4 different directors, and one of them then actually ended up going to direct Gone with the Wind, which is like another classic that people like really, really love. And it was weird. So you'll see like 4 directors that were actually attached to it, but there's only one that actually ended up finishing it because he actually had the most of the whatever they recorded, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty interesting, but
that's crazy.
random.
Yeah, so she's talking to Scarecrow. He's like, "I can't even scare a crow." And then he starts doing this song about his brain. He's all, "If I wanted, if I only had a brain." He has that dance.
And then like he keeps falling, and she's like catching him, and he's trying to catch him. Yeah.
So Scarecrow and Dorothy join forces into their journey, and they sing and dance away all sweet. But I like how Dorothy likes their dancing like the same. Like that's a sweet little choreography.
It's a little choreography.
But like if you notice when they're doing that dance, Scarecrow, he's not like on point. He's like kind of still tripping.
Yeah,
but he's doing it well still. Like it's so good.
It goes with the choreography, but you can tell. Yeah,
he's a scarecrow.
He's a scarecrow.
He just fucking got off his stick up his ass.
You know what? That's why I walk like that. Dude, let me tell you another fun fact.
Yes.
Are you ready for this? I was actually reading into this, and I guess like for the character Dorothy, which is Judy Garland, right? So I guess when like she was trying to make this movie, they told her to lose weight. Did you hear about this? So they so they made her lose weight, and the way they did it is they only allowed her to diet by eating chicken, soup, black coffee, and cigarettes. That's all she was able to have.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
And it sucks. And then like,
but she's like concealed in that dress the whole time, so it's not even like matter. You don't.
I
even
guess
see
so,
her.
but like I guess whoever like was like the producer, like the big heads at that time,
That shit
or like
wouldn't fly.
you look like a pig.
That shit wouldn't fly.
That shit wouldn't fly now, obviously. But it's just interesting to hear that, and you're like, damn, what a Hollywood story. Like, I love this movie, and we'll get into that later. But I would love to see the behind the scenes of this movie and how it was made.
Shit,
like there's so many cool things. Like
apparently, and I think too that the trio Scarecrow, Tin Man, and the Lion didn't really like Judy Garland that much because like they were jealous of her.
Really, I didn't.
I had like read something
that.
like that. Yeah, it's fucking weird.
So so there's like so many little things. Yeah.
So that's when we get to this creepy ass tree scene. And when they're trying to pick some apples, he's like, "How would you like someone to come pick by and pick something off of you?" That's what the tree says to her. And then they start attacking. But then Scarecrow's a dick. He's a little trick because they get some apples. And it's funny because like they're throwing apples at them, but they don't really travel very far when they intro to the Tin Man.
Definitely,
like they just stop. Like they're okay. We're gonna. Like, you can still see the trees in one of the scenes too. Like
it feels like they didn't go anywhere really far.
Not at all.
It's like she got everyone at the same, like a foot away.
They fell back asleep. So this is where we see the Tin Man, who they save because he's all rested, and they put some oil on him, and he wants a heart. And then you guess it, he joins their journey, but sings a little song. But even Scarecrow's just like, beautiful, what a nickel. Knocks on his chest too. He's like, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
And then
that noise.
And then so also he starts singing, which is a similar song to the Brain song. He's like, if I only had a heart. And Tin Man, he's good, but he's one of my least favorite out of the trio.
Same as well. And funny, another little.
He doesn't do as many funny things.
No, he's not as sweet of a character. But funny fact about this character, actually, the original actor who was supposed to play the Tin Man actually ended up having an allergic reaction to the makeup.
Mm-hmm.
So he got changed out to the actor that we know now.
So you're saying that he didn't want to be made as Tin?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, he had like this really bad allergic reaction where he had to go to the hospital kind of thing.
Yeah, I read something like that.
So it's kind of weird. Like, imagine because we could have had a way different performance than we had.
I know.
Than we're watching
Seriously.
now. But who knows? But I'll continue.
Could have had Rin Tin Tin.
Yeah, dude. Continue to my favorite, dude.
So yeah, they're dancing away all sweet, and another comical. And he almost falls in his little comical scene that, and they're trying to help him up and down. It's like, but then the witch interrupts their little moment by almost burning Scarecrow, and then already he's falling all over the place. Oh yeah. She just comes randomly and just like kind of threatens him and then bounces. Like she could have just taken him out right there, I think. But anyway. So they venture off. No, I'm sorry. Okay, I want to talk about this because as they leave to go see the wizard, this is the scene where supposedly you see a munchkin that hung himself in the background.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. So
I thought you were
no, you're fine. I thought I know. No, I will. I'll go into it. So, funny thing, there was like this big theory for like a really long time that there was a munchkin who hung himself at that particular scene, and you could see the background of the trees.
Because supposedly he didn't like get apart or something like that. Was that what it was? No, his girlfriend or something like that.
Yeah, something about what I remember hearing. I didn't look into this. I just remember it.
Yeah.
But it was according to the people, he didn't get apart in the movie or something, and he snuck in, and that's how he was able to get into the movie or something like that. It's kind of a little bit ridiculous, but then
it's weird. But it ends up being like a bird.
It's a
You
bird.
can tell it's a bird.
You can tell it's a bird because now, like with the high quality,
yeah.
You see it like the VHS is going to be way different than what you watch it now. So yeah, it's like it looks like a big old bird, and it's like
big bird from Sesame Street.
Yeah, dude. So
yeah, it's just interesting.
That's funny. I'm glad you brought that up.
I know
it was funny
because I got at one point I got into it, and then also this movie too. You can play the whole Dark Side of the Moon for Pink Floyd.
Oh, that's
and
right.
It all syncs up with it, right?
It all syncs up.
I'm gonna try that.
That's so funny. I'm so glad you brought that up too. That's
so
another
fucking weird.
There's all these little nuances
like you're
to
saying,
this movie.
Like you were saying, there's all this shit like behind it. Like it's just crazy.
Like the Pink Floyd thing is such a random thing that I've heard too.
I just want to know like who did that. Like I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna look into this and watch this movie. Like, wait a minute. Son of a bitch.
Someone had to be like super baked
on the devil's lettuce.
On the devil's lettuce, dude. Watching The Wizard of Oz and like, oh man, the dark side of the moon.
That,
You know,
that
like
motherfucker should have been made of gold.
yeah, there's probably some
Yeah,
stupid
I
that
want to try
happened.
it one day.
I definitely should.
And then we'll do a quotables of it.
Yeah.
So they venture off into the scary lands, and that's when they're like, "What's in this land? These lands are lions, tigers, bears," and that's when they're like, "Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my." Sounds like a rap song nowadays. And then of course they run into a fan favorite, the lion. And this dude is just as sweet as a scarecrow. You know, he has the acting. He has a sweet roar. He's like, and he's like, put him up. Which one wants to fight first? I fight you both at the same time if you want. I fight you with my hand behind my back. I stand on one foot. And he's like, oh, scared you, eh? Afraid, eh? Go ahead. And then the Tin Man's like, go ahead and teach him a lesson. And then Crow's like, why don't you? He's like, well, I don't know him that well. But it's fucking sweet. Like the lion, he's just like, and I love his costume. I don't know what it is. It's just like, it looks great.
Yeah, it's
something you would go to sleep in.
Yeah. Did you know that, the costume ended up getting sold later on, but one of the big rumors is that actual costume was made, I don't know if it's a rumor or it actually was true or not. I just remember it like briefly.
Was made of a lion?
But it actually was made out of a real lion. So you can imagine that fucker just running around doing that, all sweaty in this lion
That's
getup.
fucking weird.
And he's like,
So he goes after Toto, and that's when Dorothy gets pissed and just slaps his ass. Just to discover he's a big old baby. He's like, what'd you do that for? It's like, I'm a big scaredy cat. Yeah. And she's like, it's bad enough to pick on straw men, but not a dog. And like, oh, what about the Tin Man? Like, Dorothy's always favoring the crow, the Scarecrow. So then he sings his little song, and then they get a new friend for the pack. A lion. It's just an interesting little set, like classic little colored characters. So this whole time the witch is watching on her crystal ball, and we meet a scary ass flying monkey. It's funny because I think maybe a Halloween or two ago, like I was at the Halloween shop and I saw a dope ass flying monkey outfit, but it was like $200 and I was like, I'm not gonna spend that today. But dude, it was so cool. I'm like, one of these days I'm gonna get that shit.
Dude, I hate shopping for Halloween costumes because like when Halloween hits, they go really expensive. The best thing to do, and I can tell you,
buy it early. Yeah.
No, not even early. Buy it right after Halloween, like during November.
Yeah, but then you don't want to be that person anymore.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing is like you're gonna have to set up for next year, and that's how you get it cheaper. I actually went out of my way to do it once, and I got a costume for like $30 that was supposed to be like $70-$80.
Yeah, fuck.
So like that's how you save money. Little tip.
TikTok tip. So she sets a spell in the poppy fields so they can fall asleep before they reach the Emerald City. They're running through the fields all excited because they see the city, but then Lion and Dorothy end up falling asleep. And then Lion's like, "Come to think of it, 40 winks wouldn't be bad." Why do people say 40 winks?
I think that's. I've always assumed that it was like that's how many winks it'll take for you to go to sleep. Like when you're gonna go into your REM sleep, supposedly.
Wow.
Maybe I don't know. That's what my assumption has always been.
So the good witch saves the day by making it snow, so they don't have to sleep anymore. But she does not realize she's gonna kill the Tin Man. He's gonna rust up. But
I know,
dude.
Let me say something about this snow. Do you know what the snow is made out of back in the day?
Ice cream cones?
No, it actually was made out of asbestos.
Oh shit! Really?
So all that snow that you see falling on those characters is asbestos. So like, I'm not saying that the Wicked Witch is like, oh, I'm gonna kill him with asbestos. Like, no, she's using snow, right? Uh-huh. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But like, the asbestos was actually the only way in that time that they can make it look like if it was real snow. And obviously, like now you go back to it, and then like people are like, dude, they could have died.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's poison. If you guys don't know what that is, it's bad.
Yeah. So evil witch is she's pissed and she ends up flying away, and I love the effect that when she's flying away, she flies right at a little tower. Like, but it looks so funny. Yeah. Like I don't know what it is. It just looks hilarious to me. I always wonder. I mean, obviously, I think they just do like a miniature set and just have it like spinning around, but it just looks so good. So they arrive at Emerald City, and we get another. I love this character. The little guard, the little over the top gatekeeper. He's like the bell's out of, or the sign. He's all read the sign. He's like the bell's out of order. Please knock. But even though they knocked, they used the bell, and he came out to say something, and then they knocked. And he goes, "The wizard, but nobody can see the Great Oz. Nobody ever seen the Great Oz. Even I've never seen him." And they keep questioning.
Nobody sees him. No way, no how.
No, that's later.
Oh, sorry.
I thought it was at this scene. They question this dude, and he gets all mad. But then he gets happy when they show him the shoes, and the words spreads fast in Oz. He's like, well, bust my buttons. That's a horse of a different color.
Yeah.
And then, he brings him in, and that's when he puts on his carriage with a horse of a different color. He was being literal. He was being literal.
Yeah.
But I love that character so much. I don't know what it is.
It
He's
is
just such a
friggin'
sweet-ass
sweet.
character. So they're going, and then, they got the sweet-ass Mary of Oz song as they clean up. But it's funny because, how he said, like, nobody sees the wizard, nobody sees the Great Oz, but, like, so why did the witch say, like, oh, go see Oz, he's going to grant your wish? Like, how do they know? Like, no one's ever seen the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. And, it's a little
Kind of weird
plot
the way
hole.
I don't know.
And they all praise this guy, but he's an asshole, right? Like, well, when they first meet him, but I don't know. Maybe he's just putting him up front for them.
Yeah.
I don't know. So anyway, they go and they.
Did you not see the movie, The Great Oz?
I didn't watch that shit.
Just joking.
I actually make a reference in this later.
Okay, you actually seen it then, yes?
I've never seen it.
Okay.
But
Well, it tells
Oz-
you the
Oz
story
Great
of
and
why he is
Powerful.
the way he is. But
Yeah,
continue.
some stupid.
It
Yeah,
is
James
dumb.
Franco did. I don't know. So we get the. So they go to clean each other, like get cleaned up. And then they get interrupted by the witch leaving a message in the sky, like "Beware, Dorothy!" And everyone's like, "Who's Dorothy?" And they go ape shit, and they go to see the wizard. But then the little guy's like, "Oh, rest assured, everything's fine, blah blah blah." And then that's when Dorothy's like, "We have to see the wizard." And he goes, "Nobody can see the Great Oz. Not nobody, not know how." That's my favorite line. That's one of my favorite lines. And I'm
Actually,
gonna tell you now, that's my favorite line.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I'm glad you said that because that's actually a quote that you use a lot.
I do. It's a great one. But then he agrees to go talk because so Dorothy starts crying. And she's like, "I'm never gonna get home," and blah blah. And that fucker, I love that. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is later. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm gonna get to that. I'm sorry. I skipped
you're
ahead.
fine, you're
I
fine.
got excited.
You did,
But then he agrees.
Relax.
Then he agrees to go try to talk to the wizard. But that's not before we get the sweet ass lion song. And like you mentioned, he gets that extra song. He's like, I'm a king of the forest. It's funny.
yeah.
Funny. Have you ever seen the American Idol clip? Did I show you that?
Yes,
clip?
you
the,
have.
the,
and
the
I-
girl that goes on and sings that
and
song.
sings that song.
It's
And
so
it-
so
it-
cringy, but
oh,
it's
so
amazing.
hilarious. But she does.
she
it great.
won.
Did she won?
If you didn't see it, no, I'm kidding. No, she didn't win. She didn't even
If
make
you
it.
didn't know, she's our new American Idol.
She won. She is Katy Perry. No, I'm kidding. So, yeah, and like I said, I wonder why they dedicated this whole ass scene to this guy. Like this maybe because they knew he was a great character. I don't know, right? And then I love it.
Yeah,
he puts that
probably,
sweet
but
ass cape too. He's like, "Dun, dun, dun."
If I'm not mistaken, I think that he was like one of the higher paid actors in the movie,
Really?
and he is like some sort of like singer opera or something like that, and that's why he had another song because he has more songs than everyone else does.
Yeah,
You know?
he's got. I feel like he got a lot more lines too.
Yeah.
He's got a lot more like emphasis on him. So the gatekeeper comes out with the bad news and said they can't see the wizard. That's when Dorothy starts to cry, which I was saying a little earlier. And he's, and I love that the gatekeeper peeks, and the way he's crying, bro. Like there's so much tears coming down. He's like,
Yeah.
it's just fucking
Yeah.
sweet. I don't know what it is,
So
man. And he
random.
decides to let him in. So they go in and they start to get really scared, and then especially the lion. He's like, "Oh, somebody pulled my tail." They're all, "It's you." He's like, "Ah." So much for being this fucking king of the forest.
Yeah.
Shit. No, what is it? Oh, but during that song too, though, even more than a hippopotamus, I get a chumpotamus. I don't even know what the
Yeah,
fuck he
yeah,
says. He says some weird shit.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. So they go to see Oz the Great and Powerful, not to be mistaken with James Franco. That's what I was referring
dude,
to.
That's good.
It's funny because I actually looked up and I looked more into that movie when I was watching this. I was like, I wonder what, because I know Mila Kunis is like spoilers. She ends up being like the witch, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you fucking remember.
No, I remember. I just didn't want to say
Fucking
anything. I don't want to ruin it.
Oh, we're sorry, everybody.
Quotables, spoilers.
Quotables fucked up.
But I'm not gonna go really into the movie. Watch the movie. It's not great, but it's not bad.
It's
where
not
you
powerful?
can't see it. No, just like watch it and then just kind of like see what you think about it because it's like honestly, I feel like it's a
Hate it.
Charlie.
Just
And
kidding.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I do.
The feeling you had with that movie is what you'd feel with this. It's just gonna be okay. You know what I mean?
Oh, like the new version of Charlie.
Yeah,
and
it's
Chocolate.
just
Okay,
gonna.
okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're
No,
saying. I
not
was
the
like, wait a
original.
second.
The original's great.
So anyway, so Oz, he's all intense. He's like fucking behind big old head. He's like Oz calls his victims one by one, and that's when the Scarecrow falls again. But he does a sweet little bow. He's all. Then the lion shits his pants. We got Tin Man fucking clinking in his heels, and Oz is a dick. He said he's gonna grant their request with all their, they want home, heart, courage, and brains. But he's like, you have to go get the broomstick of the wicked ways. Like, and I love they run out. I love how they run out and the fucking lion just runs and jumps out the fucking window.
You know what's funny is that like that scene happens and then you don't know what else happens.
Yeah, it just kind of transitions.
It just transitions.
And then
you're
all of a
like,
sudden
what
he's
the
got a
hell?
big ass net and a hammer. I don't know why he has that. Like he's
You're
trying
like-
to like catch a witch.
Oh, he's trying to catch a witch.
We're going to witch hunt. And he's like,
It's just so random,
he's like,
dude.
I do believe in spooks. I do
Like-
believe in spooks.
Yeah.
And that's when they get attacked. The evil monkeys are summoned.
Mm.
And they are attacked. And this is fucking scary scene too. Like, you know, they're
Dude,
attacking him. They fucking
disembowel the
disembowel
Scarecrow, bro.
Scarecrow.
That's crazy.
Lion loses his hammer and net. Tin Man's dropped like super hard. They pick him up and drop his ass, and like Dorothy and Toto get taken away.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Scarecrow, and this is another scene I fucking love. I don't know what it is. It's fucking great. But they're like, "Oh, what happened to you?" He's like, "Oh, well, they tore my legs out and they threw it over there, and they tore my chest out and they threw it over there." Like, it's fucking sweet, dude. I love that shit. I've used that line before, a couple times. So they ended up they fix him up, and that's when we cut to Dorothy with the witch, where she's gonna take the dog to the sheriff. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what she's gonna do with it. She tells the monk, she's like, "Throw that basket." She's like, "Throw that thing in a basket in the river and drown it." She's fucking. They hate dogs in these movies. So Dorothy goes to give it the slippers, but then the witch gets shocked because there's a spell.
Yeah.
But she has to be dead for her to have them. She's like,
These things must be done delicately.
the way she says it, and that's when Toto escapes. She's like,
Go get that thing.
and then Dorothy's like, "Run, Toto, run, run!" Oh, I sound like Mickey Mouse, huh?
Yeah.
And then so the witch,
Run, Toto. Run.
She's
The way she
pissed.
does it all sweet.
and so the witch is pissed, and she gives Dorothy not long to live with that hourglass thing. She doesn't do it very delicately. She just kind of does it really quick.
Yeah.
So we cut to Toto finding the gang, and they're like, "Oh, I think Toto's gonna take us to Dorothy. Dorothy." I love the way he says it.
The way he says it.
And I wonder if my dog would do that for me.
No.
Probably not.
He would let us die.
And
Or
then
my dog would let me die too.
and I love how they're climbing the little cliff, and like Tin Man almost falls. Like, it's just the way they make it look is sweet. And then
Yeah.
and then Lion's like, "I hope my strength holds out." And then Scarecrow's like, "I hope your tail holds out."
Yeah.
It's stupid. So that's when we cut to the Oreo gang chanting. They're, "Oh yeah, oh." What are those people? Those are like regular people, right? Or like they're still munchkins.
I want to say that they're munchkins. That's what I think.
but they look
are.
a little more grown.
Yeah, they just probably look different because of the camera angle.
I don't know. But anyway, they're chanting, and then Scarecrow and Tin Man tell that the Lion's gonna go lead him in there. He's like, "All right, I'll do it for Dorothy." He's like, "It's all right. There's only one thing I want you to do. Talk me out of that." And then that's when these guards
Oh,
sneak up
God.
on him, but they fight each other and they manage to steal it, which is works out pretty well. They can hold their own. And then the Lion's like, "Do you think it'll be polite? Drop it in like this." So stupid. So they end up finding Dorothy, and once they bust open the door, the death spell is broken somehow. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
Maybe she can't be in the same vicinity. I don't know. So they get found, and they're surrounded by the guards and the witch. And the witch is like telling them, "Oh, get them!" And then Scarecrow uses his brains for a diversion,
Yeah.
and the whole castle chases
him,
them. So they're running around and they're trying to escape, and it's a little intense scene, dude. You want them to survive. So they get cornered, and the witch is like, "Oh, Scarecrow, how about a little fire?" And that's when he burns Scarecrow, and he's oh. And then luckily there was a bucket of water there, or else Scarecrow would
Yeah, he
have
would
died.
have done that.
So she throws the water on him, and that's when it gets the witch. And she's like, "I'm
Melting. What a world. What a world. Who would have
Yeah.
known a little girl like you could have destroyed my wickedness?
It's pretty intense.
dude,
It's pretty intense. But the guards end up being happy. They didn't like the witch at all.
Maybe they were honestly. I feel like they were probably under some sort of spell. To be
I would
there.
think so too, or they just had no choice. Like
Yeah.
there's not many jobs in Oz. Just get out of there.
But, I mean, Oz himself doesn't.
They didn't want to be no lollipop boys.
He ain't giving out jobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't. That's poverty in Oz is still all-time low. So we cut back to Oz, where they present the broom to Oz.
But Oz is
he
like
but he's still a dick.
he's a jerk,
But that's
dude.
when Toto finds him behind the things. "I'll pay no attention to the man behind the curtain." And then Scarecrow's like, "You humbug!" And so Oz, he apologizes, and that's when he starts bequeathing his friends. First we get a PhD for Scarecrow, and I always thought he said, "Scarecrow, you had brains all along," shit like that. But
Yeah, no, he
I guess
never
because it's been
does.
interpreted so differently in so many shows and stuff. Like
mhm.
you think it's a certain way, but it's not. But he gives him a PhD, And he's smart now. God bless that piece of paper. And second, the lion gets his courage via a medal, the Triple Cross. He's all, shucks, folks, I'm speechless. And
The way he puts it on his little fur,
also
dude.
Valorant or something like that. Third, and Tin Man gets a clock that's a heart. And I love that the Oz says this. He goes, a heart is not judged by how much you love, but how much you are loved by others. I'm like, and that's when, Darkseid of the Moon's all, damn. No, I'm kidding. Lastly, Dorothy he's gonna go take her within his hot air balloon. She's like, yeah, his hot air balloon filled with candy. I'm kidding. No, I'm sorry. So it's a big ass celebration. And maybe it's the first time everyone see the wizard, right? And then fucking, Oz is like, it's a hazardous and unexplainable journey. And I wouldn't want to go with that fucker, dude.
No, he's a weird ass dude.
It's a little strange.
He just lied. But
Yeah.
you know what? I want to say something because I totally forgot to mention this. When they're gonna go back to go get the broom and all that stuff, and then you kind of see the Scarecrow and all them together. Do you recall what the Scarecrow has in his hands?
No.
He has a gun.
What?
Yeah, he has a gun, but you don't see that in the VHS version. Like only in the high quality one, you can tell that it's like a Glock. It's like a freaking revolver, bro.
Why?
I don't, because he's gonna go fight, dude.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he
Where
does
did he
that.
even get that?
Yeah, you gotta look it up. I'll show you a picture. It's so random,
That's
bro.
weird.
Yeah, dude.
So Toto runs out of the balloon, and that's when it gets launched away. Like all of a sudden she runs out, and maybe because of the weight, I don't know, and leaves poor Dorothy, and she's all sad, and she's like, I can't come back. I don't know how it works. Like, oh, good thing she didn't go with his ass, dude, because he doesn't know what the fuck he's
Know where
using.
he's going now.
So the good witch comes though to help her and tells her, she's like, you could have gone home by just clinking your shoes. And then she's like, but
I would have been like, are you serious?
But she's like, you needed to learn. Like, you needed to learn something. She's like, I guess I learned if I ever go looking for my heart's desire again, I won't look any further than my own backyard, because if it isn't there, I never really lost it to begin with. Right? She's like, that's exactly right. Now you can go home. Like, it's a little strange. It's a little rush right
I would
there.
have
I
been
feel
like, you ass.
you fucking bitch. But not before she gets to say goodbye to her pals. And it's a sad little scene, dude. I get a little sad. She's like, she says bye to Tin Man. He's like, now I know I've got a heart because it's breaking. I'm like, oh. And then says bye to the lion. He's like, I would have never found it if it wasn't for you. And then she goes to Scarecrow. I think I'll miss you the most of all. What a dick. What about the other guys? But it's kind of mad. Scarecrow didn't even say anything to her.
No.
He just hugs her and just smiles, and you see him crying, and then he probably was gonna shoot her. And then that's when she clings. She's like, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. And that's when she is wakes up and surrounded by her fam and friends again, that seem oddly familiar, except for Miss Gulch. And then she's like, she's talking. She's like, but it wasn't a dream. It was a place, and you were there. That's another classic thing.
Yeah. What about what if Mrs. Gulch? Because like maybe she's like, Miss Gulch had a heart attack, and now your dog's gonna be free. I'm just kidding.
Miss God melted. They sound like fucking plantation owners. So everyone thinks the girl's tripping, but she's like, does anybody believe me?
Oh, I believe you.
But then she's like, I'm not gonna leave here ever again, because I love you all. Oh, NEM, there's no place like home. And that concludes The Wizard of Oz.
Dude, what a short movie, right?
It's very short, but it's effective.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
It's interesting. I think like rewatching this movie, I grew a different appreciation for it. I've watched it through the lens of not knowing anything about it, obviously, and then I started doing a little bit more research, and I watched it like that, and then like you start seeing like the actual movie for what it is, and you're like, oh my god, like this is crazy. Look at these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a solid little movie. So I wanted to ask you, since we're headed there,
Ask me.
what did you think about the overall movie? Is this a like it, love it, rewind it for you?
It's tough, because remember I said last episode we were kind of changing the rewind has kind of changed in like its sense.
No, definitely has.
But it's definitely a love it up there for me, because it is a classic. I will for sure like show this to like my kids if I had like I like to show this movie because it's such a classic to me. I love it. I think it's hilarious. I don't know. It's a strange kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, definitely love it. I think at one point they had it as a rewind it, because I would watch it a lot. Like not a lot, but like almost yearly. But apparently it's kind of like a people watch it for Christmas a lot. I don't
Really?
know why. Maybe because of the asbestos snow. I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting. I
yeah,
never
it's a
heard
little
of the
strange.
Christmas version.
What about you?
So this one is a love it for me as well. Like I was saying,
Gotta have it.
yeah, it's like it's one of those movies that, like I was telling you, like rewatching it, I grew that different appreciation for it, and like I was smiling as I was watching. I'm like, oh my god, like this movie is it's such a classic. Like you can see what they were doing here, like, and they like, I don't know if in that time they're like, oh, we're gonna make a classic, like.
No, no one knows that.
No one knows that, right?
Movie,
but they did, and
this movie didn't even do that well when it first came out either.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I checked that out too. But the cool thing about the movie is like there's so many things that they do. Like there's actually because I like the movie, I'm a fan of it. Like there's like this Judy Garland museum. It's located in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and they actually sometimes or not
there.
I'm not sure honestly.
Uh-huh.
I would have to double check, but yeah, they have the thing there, and sometimes every other summer or something like that, they would bring the actual ruby slippers, the red ones.
Oh wow!
And they would put them there, and people can see them. But I guess they stopped doing that because I think like fairly recently they had them and someone stole them.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so someone stole them, but somehow the FBI ended up finding them.
Oh shit!
And they brought them back.
There was no place like home. It said.
I know, right? And so the FBI found them. They got them, but like there's no report. Like there's nothing added to the report of it. So we don't know who the hell had them or how they even found them.
Probably the lion.
I know, right? It was the Scarecrow all along. Because that's why he didn't say anything. So he hugged her and then he smiled and then all you hear in the background.
He's all bitch.
He's in the background. Like, no, but yeah, no. So yeah, random little side thing, but
that's funny.
Yeah. So like I was stating, so yeah, that's there, and I would love to, if I ever do go to Minnesota, I would love to make a stop there and be there.
Go check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, let me read you a little review.
Okay, let's do it.
Someone. They said, "Holy shit, this movie is fucking crazy. Color to black and white. What the fuck? Written in 1939." Nah, just kidding. I'm sorry. I was just thinking about that before. I was like, if I was in 1939, like I don't know what I would think if I was watching. This
I would
movie.
probably be like, "This is what I would say." Oh boy, the movie is wild. Just kidding, I don't know.
This movie is horrible.
It's a hoot.
It's a hoot. It's a hoot and holler. Sorry, that was a fake review, but I just kind of picture like what people would think is like going to color. Like people didn't know what color was back then. No, I'm kidding.
This is one of the first movies to kind of be like.
It was weird, a little balance. But anyway, let me read this real 1-star review, written in 2007 by Sandwiches. This movie sucked. Is the title. This movie sucked. It is so rubbish, not even your pets will be interested. If you want to see what the inside of a baby's mind looks like, here is the film for you. My first problem is that the people who made it didn't know if they wanted it in color or black and white. So they used both. LOL. As if we didn't know, if we wouldn't notice. Well, I noticed, and I thought it was rubbish. The little town with all those children was actually played by grown men. It's so stupid to think we'll believe they're children. Another thing I hated was that it's telling a story about 4 people, and 3 of them aren't even real. One is a bear, one is a scarecrow, and one is a robot. All they do is jump around and sing weird songs at each other like morons. Not even a baby would enjoy this. So please don't try making one watch it, no matter who it belongs to.
Oh my god!
I love the review because it starts by saying what's in this movie is what's inside a baby's mind, but then it ends with saying don't show it to your baby.
Okay,
that's a little strange, but it's fun. I like, and I also like that they say, "Oh, I know it said it went from color to black and white." Like no shit. Like that's the point. That was the time. Magic. That was the magic of the movie. You think the people watching this movie didn't notice that? They're like, "Oh, wait, what? You mean it went into color at one point?" Like, no, it's just funny. Like, it's just an interesting review. I thought it was pretty funny.
If I'm not mistaken, Pigs and Bacon.
Yes, sir.
I think this is one of the few first movies to actually have color.
Yeah,
that's why it was such a big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny about the guy's review. My assumption is usually people who watch movies aren't very. I mean, like I said, everyone's always entitled to their opinion, but I think some people aren't well versed in like things that are, of the time and like where it came from, culture and all that.
Yeah,
culturally.
I mean, it is a strange movie.
Yeah, it is a strange movie, but I think that's probably why he wasn't able to appreciate it for what it is, and other people do. Because I don't think I've ever heard anyone be as disrespectful as that review that I've met. Even people who don't care for the movie, don't like it, still appreciate it. They're like, yeah, no, it was not the best, but it was good.
I don't think we were supposed to take it as the Munchkins being children. I took it as they were people.
Yeah,
they're people in this land.
They're just little people. That's what my assumption was as well. Which right now, I'm glad you said that because I was like, why the heck did he think
Yeah.
there was like did in somewhere in the movie that we weren't paying attention? Did they go like, these are kids?
Right? These
Like,
are
I
fucking
don't
children.
I
I mean,
don't
they do
remember
sing the
that.
Lollipop Kids, but I mean,
That makes sense.
those actually
The
look like it.
Lollipop Guild. The Lollipop.
Anyway, so I mean, I enjoyed it. It was great. I definitely recommend this movie. My favorite quote was already said. I had said,
All right, say it
Not
again
knowing-
because another.
"Nobody
little-
sees the wizard. No way, no how."
Yeah.
That's my favorite. What is yours?
Mine is I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. I love that. I don't know why. It's such an iconic scene, like we
Yeah.
said. I don't know what it is, but I watched that and I'm like, oh, I'm getting
I'm
ready for
ready for
something. But also, I love like anything the lion says. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the lion is
way-
a classic character.
He's just, dude. I'm sorry. I know you love the Scarecrow a lot more, but dude, the lion is what sells this movie to
Well,
me.
I like the Scarecrow for his mannerism and his body language.
Oh yeah,
And
he
I
has
like
it.
the lion for his lines and what he does, his sounds. So it's an interesting. I can't even imagine like those actors are just like what they went through.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's crazy.
It's a
But
good little movie, but yeah.
great movie. Recommend. Watch it. We should have this up on YouTube hopefully.
Yeah, we
soon.
definitely will.
Yeah, we will. And then also we got our Instagrams. We got the Twits. We got the Insta at
Yeah.
Quotables Cast. Check it out. We'll try to be more vocal on social media. I know we're kind of not too great with it.
Yeah, I mean, we both have like jobs and like.
Well, not even that. It's just
all
like we're
that
not
stuff,
social media, I think, savvy. Like kind of
I
like.
know.
I mean, we are, but like we just don't put the time into it, which we should.
I just I like to be on Twitter when I'm using the restroom. Not when
jerking off.
I've done the whole social media thing for like a solid month once with other stuff, but it's hard, dude.
That is
The
hard.
people that do that job are good at what they do. I know a lot of people
We're gonna
talk
start making TikToks.
smack about it. We're gonna
kidding.
start doing our first TikTok is actually gonna be me as the cowardly lion, him as a scarecrow, and we're gonna. What was that?
I don't know. I was trying to do this.
I know. He's like, ah.
Damn, what the hell was that?
I thought that was you.
That was a little strange.
That was strange.
But-
Whoa.
Hey,
Hey.
what were you gonna say? Sorry, go ahead.
Over the rainbow. Nothing, dude. That's it.
Okay, I was just gonna say but thank you for listening. If you don't have anything else to add or we
No,
can
I
wrap
don't.
it up.
Same as well. Thank you guys again for listening. We do appreciate everything. If you ever do want to talk to us or be on the podcast, I know we have a lot of friends and family that do listen.
Send
So
us a message.
Yeah, send us a message and let us know. And
But
we'll
you have to
definitely
have
be-
a movie. We're not gonna pick for you. 'Cause
No, we're not.
Obviously, it's a movie you like and really enjoy.
Definitely. It's harder. It's something. The thing that I always tell people is, especially people who are scared to be on a podcast, like pick a movie that you're gonna love because
Ernie's
obviously
still scared.
I am. I'm always.
He's
like,
worn 6 shirts already before we started.
that is very true.
And you can't even see us.
And again,
Just
yeah, no, all right,
Not
but
yet.
no, not yet. But yeah, so like you guys pick a movie that you feel comfortable doing, and we'll definitely like take care of you because like we love movies. So
Take care of it.
Take care of it. But yeah,
Take care of
so
it.
yeah, thank you guys again.
Thank you. We'll see you next time
Tune us
on
out.
Quotables.
Dude.